All right, what's up, everybody? It's CVB, and this is Fantasy Life. And today I'm here with,
The Polish Hama.
and also
A
Bagala.
Bagala special. What's good?
There
What's
we
good?
go. All righty, and today we're doing an episode on buy or sell, and today will be Saquon Barkley. Okay, and one of us actually has him on their dynasty team. So, anyway, I guess we'll get
I
to
do.
you. Let's start with Hammer. Are you a buy or sell on Saquon Barkley?
My first inclination was to say buy, but then I just think about the running back position and how fragile it is. You know what I mean? And we talk about this all the time where those running backs are good, especially coming out of, being a rookie running back in that first 3 to 5 year window. This is Saquon's fifth year. He's had an injury history, a major injury as well with the ACL a couple of years ago. And it just seems like now he hasn't been the same since that first year. That first year, he was tremendous. But it just seems like after that, he hasn't really produced at the level compensatory with how high people are drafting him, right? He's obviously a first round pick. He's an amazing ball carrier. He's an amazing pass catcher, as we've seen. So right now, I'm selling him. He's going into his fifth year. Generally, running backs after that first contract, that rookie contract, other than Adrian Peterson, who has really shown a whole lot as a running back, a buy running back anyway, that would mean I have to give up assets for him or draft him with, one of my top picks. And I just can't do that right now.
I feel you. And before I ask you, Baga, let's just go over Saquon's stats. Obviously, that rookie year coming in, number one running back PPR, 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns, to
Tremendous.
go 91 receptions,
He was tremendous.
and another four touchdowns. And then second year, he gets hurt a little bit. He plays only 13 games, still finishes running back 10 PPR. Okay. Still runs for 1,000 yards, only six touchdowns there. Um, targets went down a little bit, 52 receptions, only two touchdowns there. Then he has the big injury and he plays only the two games. And then he comes back this past year and plays 13 games. Runs for 593 yards and 41 catches. Only four touchdowns total on the season, but in 13 games played. So just wanted to go over those stats real quick. But Bagala, are you buy or sell?
For me, I have them. Excuse me. For me, I have them, and I just don't feel comfortable letting him go right now. Like, what would you get for him? Is the thing, but being the talent that he is, you're kind of forced to keep him because what are you getting for Saquon? What would you offer for Saquon right now, Steve? Just think about it. Dynasty, especially Dynasty. What are you offering? Like in redraft, I'm not taking Saquon high this year. I would stay away from him in redraft. But you got him in Dynasty. This is the final year of his contract. And last year, he was coming off the ACL. It took him a couple of games to get going. He balled out for 2 games, and then he has the freak injury at Dallas where he just stepped on somebody's foot the wrong way. Polish knows about this. Those can be catastrophic.
It's also one of those things where it reminds me of kind of what can go wrong, will go wrong, especially with a guy like Saquon at this point. And then it starts to become, well, you develop an injury history. This kind of reminds me a little bit of Christian McCaffrey. They're kind of on the same trajectory. It feels like really good, young, productive running backs, but the last 2+ years, the injury history kind of scares you away, especially in Dynasty, where running backs, let's face it, they don't get any better as they get older.
Yeah, but that's my point as saying, what do you get for him right now? You can't. And he still has the potential and the talent that you feel like, all right, if he returns to form, you know, Saquon is a beast. Contract year, they picked up his fifth year option, which is only $7 million. That's also why the Giants didn't trade him.
Yeah.
It's a steal if he goes over 1,000 yards or if he has a big season in a contract year. You keep him this year, you let him walk next year. And I'm kind of in that same boat because I do have him on my dynasty team. And right now I'm going to keep him because I can't get anything from him. But if he balls out and he ends up going to the Bills in free agency, then I can probably get something for him. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. You just can't. I don't feel like he's in Dropsville and you let a guy like Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey, you just let them go for nothing. I don't feel comfortable doing it. He's gonna get one more year from me, and then I'm hoping it's a big year because it'll help me, in my season, and also, in the off season where maybe his value won't be any higher, whatever that's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? But I want to see him play some games.
Let me flip this question, I guess, to Blanc and Bagala, really. What if you were on the buy end of it? Not to say that you would.
I'll tell you about. I'm on the buy end of it. And when it's my turn, I'll tell you why I'm on the buy.
You see what I'm saying? And that's why.
Yeah, so this is really a two-pronged perspective because if you have him, what are you going to get for him? But if somebody's willing to offer him and you buy him low, then, it's a little bit of a different perspective. So take it away, Blanc.
Exactly.
Yes, you're basically in a hold, which is understandable. And I'd do the same, if I were you. But I'm on the opposite side of this. I'm buying Saquon Barkley, okay, for a few different reasons. He's going to be only 26, obviously, and he's in that last year of his contract. That's the only kind of negative part, is that he's in that last year. But if he balls out, he's going to get a contract, and he'll, no matter where he goes, he'll be, top 5, easy top 10, right? Now the Giants they didn't trade him, okay, so I think that's good. So I think they're definitely giving him a chance because they can obviously re-sign him. But yeah, I mean, coming off a number one running back, and then the number 10 for those first 2 years of the league, and then last year he played only 13 games. Okay, he only played about 60% of the snaps, which he didn't get thrown the workload like he normally does.
Well, I think they were working him in because of the injuries.
Yeah, that too as well, and that's why I'm buying, right? So he only had one game over 16 carries last year. And in that game, he had 21 carries, and guess what? He went over 100 yards. Okay. So he's only getting 13 carries, a game. Only one game over 16 carries. And in that game, he had over 100 yards, right? So what that tells me is that if he gets that normal workload, give him that 20 carries, he'll obviously be right back to where he was, top 10, could be top 5, because he was very involved in the passing game last year. If you look, I mean, he averaged almost 5-6 receptions like a game, what he was doing, which was great. So, as long as he can stay healthy, obviously that's a concern.
That's
but
a big if.
Back now, he played through that, and then now it's that next year. So now he should be full effect. He should have that confidence coming back. And so, I'm a buy on him, and I think especially with that offense is total shit. Excuse my language.
That was going to be my next question.
And the offense even gets a little bit better. Saquon gets his workload or close to it even. He's easily top 10 guy. And
that was going to be my question. That's
why I'm buying. If he can play all 16 games, easily top 5. If he plays 13 or so, he's top 10. I mean,
does the offensive system and the other skill position though like scare you away? Like there's really nothing there, and Daniel Jones hasn't shown he's a good quarterback.
Look at the receptions that Saquon had last year. He had 41 catches on 57 targets. Obviously he didn't play the whole thing, but look at the game log here. 7 targets, 6 targets, 6 targets, 5, 9, 8, 6 catches, 5 catches, 6 catches, 4 catches, 6 catches. So he was very involved in the passing game. So I think no matter what, that's still going to be there. And if he plays more, that's just going to increase. And I think if he plays more, his rushes will increase as well, which will put him in the top. If he gets the chances, it's there. And he showed that last year when he was given the opportunities.
So what's his value though? What really is his value?
Okay.
Nothing. So there's no value.
What would I buy Saquon for right now? It might be hard to buy Saquon because who the person that has him, Lou, of course, in this case, but anybody that has him, what they'd be willing to give him up for, I won't be willing to pay, most likely. I'd throw a first out there for Saquon. I'd throw a first. I'm not throwing 2 firsts. You want a first and a third? Okay, fine. You can talk me into a first and a third, but even a first and a second, if I'm contending, I'd do it for a first and a second.
It's also going to be.
I wouldn't throw 2 first.
I think Bagala brought up actually a really good point, especially if you're going to be buying him. Is what's his situation going to be like after the season? Are the Giants going to re-sign him? Is he going to go to another team? Because it seems to me like it makes the most sense to hang on to him, see how the year goes, and if either the Giants keep him and he has a good year, all right, cool, then obviously his value increases. If he goes to a team like Buffalo, I'm pretty sure his value increases even more than that. So there's still some uncertainty. So for me, I don't have him, but I wouldn't go after him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even attempt to buy him because I don't really know. There's a lot of uncertain things with him going on that it's hard for me to really be able to bank on something where he's going to go, how he's going to look. Is he going to get injured again? So I'm not really willing to give up assets and go after a guy with a lot of uncertainty in a bunch of different areas.
I'd buy him. I'll take the risk. But like I said, I'm not giving up 2 firsts. I'm not giving up a first and, a player. I'm not doing it,
And for a person with Saquon and that, I said, with a person with Saquon, you have to sit there and you just have to wait. Like he's, you know what I'm saying? He's like you said, Steve, if, in our league, the precedent has been set for a starting running back. You know what I'm saying? It's 2 first-round picks, and if he does good this year, I can probably get that if I want to move on. I'm not. You don't feel comfortable getting anything less because if he goes crazy for somebody else, you're just gonna feel horrible about it. So you have to hold him. You have to wait, and you're forced into buying Saquon right now.
I agree. I think you definitely have to hold if you have them. Like I said, I try and buy for cheap. If it's not there, then so be it. But I try. I'd rather take that chance. But if people are offering you stuff for Saquon, what is something that you would take? What's a reasonable offer that you would take for Saquon right now?
It's hard because now you have to drop your price down just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's all about give and take, and you just can't stay at the firm point of 2 firsts. You know he's not playing well. A situation, so you got to go down. Maybe 2 players and a first round pick. You know what I'm saying? 2 players and a first round, not high caliber players, but somebody that's gonna give you something, you know what I'm saying? Decent, I don't know. You can target, just maybe a wide receiver 3, RB2, maybe something like that, something lesser.
I think we know what Saquon Barkley's value should be, and I think we know what his value is right now. You know what I mean? Because we all look at Saquon Barkley as this RB1 potential. Obviously, we saw his first season. He was the RB1 in PPR, right? We know what his potential is, but also we know what the history is. So I feel like it's somewhere in the middle. If you could get a first round pick for him, like you said, maybe a wide receiver 2 for and a second round pick, somewhere in that range. It's really tough to gauge, honestly.
It really is, and that's why you just don't feel you're gonna lose that battle as like a GM when you do decide to give Saquon up, because I feel like he does have one more stretch run in him, and at some point in time he's gonna turn it on. You're just gonna feel like, damn, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I haven't even thought about trading him because I know like nobody's gonna give me what I want. So I haven't even thought about it. I put it, I was like, I gotta keep him. Nobody's gonna want him.
They're not gonna give you
that.
They're not gonna give you the value that you think he's worth in order for the production he could potentially give you down the road.
Exactly. And it's not only injuries. The Giants are bad. You know what I'm saying? They can't block worth a lick. And Daniel Jones can't stop turning the ball over. So it's like he has the injury thing, and then the Giants just stink and they can't block a soul. So it's like, it's low ball central, and I don't know who's gonna. I don't feel comfortable with it.
Well, if you could trade Saquon now, who's a running back that you would want or would target if you wanted to trade Saquon?
James Conner had a good a year last year. You know what I'm saying?
And he re-upped with Arizona. He re-signed with Arizona.
With Arizona.
James Conner piece with that.
I maybe.
He was better than Saquon last year.
He was, but
his value is higher.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna get a Nick Chubb. I'm not gonna get, you know what I'm saying? So say what you want about James Conner, he is that second tier. Maybe I can sell Saquon on potential alone. I don't know, but like
Chase Edmonds
who else is out there?
Chase Edmonds is not in Arizona anymore.
No, I thought about going for Chase Edmonds too.
It is just James Conner there. Yeah. But all right, let me give you another scenario. Let's say season starts, first 2 weeks of the season, Saquon has over 20 fantasy points in both weeks. Are you selling high at that point, or are you willing to ride that out and keep him?
I'm letting that dog hunt, because if he got the first 2 or 3 games and he has 20 fantasy points and he looks healthy, I'm talking about no nicks and bruises, and it looks good, I might let that dog hunt. I'm going to say, you know what I'm saying? Because he was my first pick. So it's like I'm gonna ride with it. He's only 26. You never know. If he turns it around, I could have a nice 3-year run with Saquon averaging 20 to 25 fantasy points a game. You know what I'm saying?
That's another factor that you take into account as well, where you took him in our original draft, right? What pick did you have?
I think I had 6. I had number 6.
Right. So at that point, you're expecting him to be your best player based on where you drafted him.
Yeah,
Are you going to get somebody else that's going to be your best player in return? Probably not.
Probably not. Exactly. So you gotta, you gotta ride with him, and I'm prepared to ride it out. And then if I'll let him go or I release him, whatever. But you gotta ride with it, because how would you feel? I don't know. I guess I can't look at it objectively because I'm a Giants fan. You know what I'm saying? So that runs a little bit deeper. But like, I don't know if you're actively out there saying I got to get rid of them, because you're taking 50 cents on a dollar. Basically.
Facts.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if he goes off those first couple weeks, I guess it all depends on what type of shape your team is in, but to sell him at that high point, because again, unsure of where he's going to go. We're unsure if he's going to stay healthy, right? Do you take advantage of that situation right off the bat and just wipe your hands clean and feel a lot better?
That's the fine line you got to walk. That's the
Or-
fine
Yeah.
line, man.
Yeah.
or do you or do you really just stick it out?
But
You know,
but look at who's above him. Rank your top 5 running backs right now.
I mean, you got to look at Austin Eckler. You got to
Mhm.
look at Derrick Henry.
well,
You gotta maybe you could throw McCaffrey in there
Jonathan,
if he's
Jonathan
healthy.
Taylor, of course.
Jonathan Taylor, right?
Mhm.
McCaffrey, but would you rather have any of those guys if you could trade Saquon Barkley goes off? If you could trade for any of those guys, would you make that trade, or would you stay with Saquon?
Well, Derrick Henry just got hurt. He's 28. Why would I trade for him? You know what I'm saying?
You would trade him for Jonathan Taylor straight up.
Exactly. Jonathan Taylor's the one where I would try and go get. But
Okay,
if
so
you got John,
and the person that has Jonathan Taylor might want a lot. Would you give up Saquon and a first for Jonathan Taylor?
Yes.
I would. Yeah.
Easy.
Okay.
Easily.
Okay.
Now, if I can get that, after he goes off for 3 weeks, that's something I'll do. But I don't think anybody would say, yeah, I'm going to trade Jonathan Taylor for Saquon Barkley,
No.
So it's hard. No. But I realistically, I just feel like the guys that I want, he's not enough to get them. And then but you feel like he's better than the other guys that are there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't, if Saquon, he's better than James Conner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a tough.
He's
It's
better
always a
than
tough
Miles
call with
Sanders.
Saquon.
So
All right, that's Saquon Barkley on the buy or sell. And if you have a player that you want us to do a buy or sell on, comment
Send them in.
below. Other than that, we'll see y'all next.